Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to install the Strike Industries Mass Driver Comp on a Gen 5 Glock 17. So you do not need a threaded barrel for this installation. Alright, so first step is you do, every time you work on a firearm, be sure she is empty. So mag out, nothing in there, do a visual inspection, nothing, alright. So I'm going to pull the slide off. Set that over there. Alright, so we're going to start by pulling the factory recoil spring assembly out. Then you're going to get this long guide rod, and you're going to get two springs. You're going to have this longer spring, and you're going to have this shorter spring. So you're going to put the guide rod through the spring, and you have a rounded piece here. So what this is going to do is this is going to lock against your barrel like the factory one does. And then you're going to grab this little piece here, which this one is going to sit up here in the very front of the gun and sit right there. So what you want to do is you're going to have the rounded side on here on the guide rod, and you're going to match that up with the flat side of this little, I don't know what you'd call this, little end cap piece. So they can't be the same. You can't have rounded, it will not work. So we're going to put it like this. So I'm trying to get it to pop in there. Sometimes it can be a bit of a pain. All right, got it lined up. And I put it on there backwards. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? All right. So. So that, to me, is the hardest part of this whole installation. Oh, we didn't quite get her seated there. There we go. All right, so now I can show you. So the rounded part of the guide rod here is going to hook into that factory groove of your barrel, same as the end of your recoil spring assembly did. So that's going to go through this recoil spring, through this little end cap, which is going to hook into the front of your slide, which is where your factory recoil spring assembly hooked to. So what you can see on the end here, there are flat sides and rounded sides on this guide rod. So they're flat and rounded on this little end cap. So you got to line that up, and you got to be sure you have a flat and rounded on this end. So you have a flat side to a rounded. You can't have flat, rounded to rounded. It is not going to work. And it's a very high tension spring. So that's why it's a little bit of a pain. All right, so next step, you're going to take the comp itself, and you're going to slide it right down on there. And then you're going to take the smaller recoil spring, pop it right down on there. And you're going to take this little nut right here, and you're going to want to blue Loctite this as well. So we're going to put that on there, and it does come with its own Allen key. And then take it down. Takes a little bit of pressure, but not too much. And you're going to want to be sure she's nice and snug, because obviously this is going to have a lot of recoil on it. and that's it. So like I said, it's a super easy install. The hardest part is just getting this spring, because there's a lot of tension here. So you get this guide rod and this little end cap. Be sure they're opposite, and that you can get it all fit in. So what I did different, because I've watched videos on this as well, the first time I put it in, I've taken this off and put it on, is they tell you to put this cap in here, then you're going to slide this guide rod all the way through first with the spring. That did not work for me, because that angle, the guide rod kept grinding on this, and I could not force it in there. So what I had to do was do what I did, take the cap, slide the cap back on the spring, put all that through, and then try to line it all up. So it can be a pain, but to me, that's the fastest way to do it. And, well, in my experience, the only way to do it. So now we're going to hook her all back up. Don't be like me and miss your tracks, like I just did again. All right, so she's installed, and be sure that she functions fine. So that recoil spring is going to be quite a bit stiffer than the factory one, in my opinion. So you know, I'll sit there, work it a bit, be sure everything functions. Yep. So that's it. Now you are ready to go to the range and try her out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.